So now let us try to understand email notification in the data factory actually. Okay. So this is one of the real-time requirement. So whenever pipeline execution is started, before starting the pipeline, so you have a pipeline, okay, ADF pipeline. So in the ADF pipeline, you are going to have a business logic. So before business logic, you want to send a email notification to corresponding people actually. Okay. So that may be a main client person or in the team technical person. You want to send the email notification every day with the so and so details like pipeline, so and so pipeline triggering started, execution started. That means the data migration is started on this time. Okay. That is what. And at the same time, after pipeline completion, after business logic execution completed, and again you want to send the email notification, follow up email notification with the details that so and so data migration successfully completed or failed. So whatever be the status of your data migration, that you want to send through email actually. So hope it is clear. First of all, what you are doing overall. So email notification you are sending, it is very general that you have to alert the corresponding people what happened for the today's data migration. So before a business logic execution, main pipeline execution, you are going to send the notification that so and so data migration going to start. And after completion of the business logic, if it is successfully migrated the data or whatever task is completed, then corresponding status you have to tell immediately actually. So in this discussion, now how you will send the email, first of all, let us see. Then configuring this is straightforward. Okay. So how you will send the email notification. So to send the email notification, you are going to have a data factory, but a data factory alone is not to send the email notification. Data factory alone is not possible to send actually. So we are going to take the help of another service in the Azure, that is Logic App. Okay. So Logic App is meant for many purposes and we are using this for sending the emails actually. Okay. So how you can send the emails by using Logic App by triggering from the data factory? Let us try to understand first of all overallly. So first let us see the theory and then exact theory try to implement in the Logic App and the data factory, so that let us try to get succeeded. So here if you see Logic App, okay. So let us try to take the Logic App. Logic App is always actually the combination of two things actually. So one is always trigger. Okay. When something is happened, when, what is that when you are going to tell here actually. So you are going to call this Logic App externally. You are going to call this Logic App externally. So to call this Logic App externally, you need to have a URL. So that is what the URL it is going to generate. So Logic App URL not yet generated the moment you create it. Let us see when it will generate. In the discussion, we will see. Now, this is actually a HTTP request. So that means URL calling. So for example, in the browser also, whenever you try to, so here you see, for example, if I type edufulness.com. So what is happening actually here, you can see this request. You can see here that request from the client system. This is my laptop from the client system. There is a server somewhere it is existed actually. So server is going to exist. So from here, the request is going to here actually. So what is that? edufulness.com web page you are asking. As a reply, what you are getting actually, you are going to get the web page, that web page content you are going to get. That's why you are able to see this page here. Okay. You are able to see all this content. So that is what actually happened. So this is actually a HTTP request. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So even in this discussion also, HTTP request you are going to have. When HTTP request is happened, that's what the trigger. Got the point, right? When HTTP request is happened, so when request is came, what to do is actually the action part. So when HTTP request came, what to do is actually the action part. So that is what, first of all, this is actually a when and this is actually a action. Now, what you are going to request. So you want to send a email notification as a action actually. So in the email, what are the basic things actually? You need to have a to address to whom you want to send. So that you need in the JSON format. Okay. And you need to have some other thing like a subject is what in the email. What is the subject? Okay. So and so subject. And what is the email body actually? So these are the basic things you have to provide. So by using this, you can send the email. Now, which type of HTTP request? You have different methods in the HTTP request. See here in this itself, when I type here edufulness.com, the request is going to the server. See here, request is going to the server. So you are not carrying any data actually. So this is one kind of request. Okay. So this is actually a, we have different methods actually. Okay. So get, put, and post, delete. So like that, different methods we have. Get. So here the method is get. You are trying to get the web page actually. Now here, if I click on any contact us or anything, so here I am trying to fill the details here. When I try to fill the details here and then I'm sending send message. Now what is happening, try to understand. This is also another thing. But this is not the requesting the web page content. This is actually carrying some data. Try to understand. This data should insert in the server. So the corresponding method is different. Put method you are going to use here. So for us in this discussion, you are going to use the post method. You are just sending something that you are going to use here. So some data you are going to carry in the post method. Even in the put method also, sorry here, even in the put also, you are going to carry some message. Keep that in mind. This is just a high level discussion. If you want, you can deep dive. So that's what post. So when you are requesting, you have to send these three details. So that's what to subject body you have to pass actually. That's hi. For full Azure data engineering training, you can go to the portal edufulness.com. In that, you can identify Azure data engineering from scratch under the courses tab. So this course is covering SQL Server, Data Factory, Databricks, PySpark from the scratch. Along with this, you are going to have real-time scenarios around 30 plus and 3 projects which you can keep it directly in your resume. Have a look the course curriculum, course description. If you like the course, you can go for the enrollment. If you want to preview the entire course, you can contact us directly. So with these values you are requesting to this URL, then these values are replacing to these positions, then you are going to use here. Now, what you have to do in the action part, send email. So to send a email, if you buy a new mobile, to send a emails, you need to install corresponding app actually. So for example, Gmail app, Outlook app. So corresponding apps you need to install. Then you have to log in. Keep always that in mind. So two steps. One is install app, then try to log in. That is what authentication, and that is what who is actually the sender you are defining. So who is actually the app? Here we are going to take a Gmail app. Simple how you are installing a app in your mobile. Same manner, try to configure the Gmail app here. Just a selection only. Then try to log in with your details. That means by username and password you are trying to log in. That's what authentication you are doing. Then that's all. Once you logged in normal Gmail app, how you are sending emails, same manner here, you are going to configure what you received to that you are configuring here, what you received subject that you are configuring here. That means these values are going to replace here. Then body of the email you are going to configure here. So you will see all these things practically also. Just a high level discussion first of all. So that's all only configuring the logic app to send the emails. So now you see the entire flow. Once you save this, then this URL is going to, you are going to have a URL now. Now by using that URL, I am calling that URL. So request is coming by carrying these values with the method post. When the request came, these values correspondingly assigning to these parameters, you are ready to catch these values. When that request came, now next immediately you are configuring the action part, sending the email. You already mail app and then authenticate with authentication you are get ready. Then these values you correspondingly replacing in these positions, how you are sending email normally. Then simply sending the email with this sender with what you logged in actually. That is what logic app side you have to do. Now, what you have to do in the ADF side. ADF side, you are triggering this URL. So you are going to have a pipeline in the ADF. So in the pipeline, who is capable to call this logic app? Lookup activity is there, get metadata is there, for each activity is there, set variable is there. So all these things have their own purpose actually. So for their own task actually. So to trigger, this is like a API endpoint you can call. So this is like a API actually. So this API, how you will call? So you have a to call the APIs. That means to call the any URL, you are going to have a activity call. What is that activity? Web activity. There is a activity web. So in that web activity, you are going to have all these possible things. It will directly ask you always, what is the URL I need to reach? So that URL you are configuring. Whatever URL here, that you are placing here. So that it will call like how from your browser, when you send this, when you click, when you do this, how this is reaching to this site. Similarly, the URL what you placed here, that will able to reach this position. Such a way HTTP request you are doing. So when request came, that's what happening. But when you are calling that, we discussed already that this one. So method you need to define. Method you need to define. There will be a drop down. In the drop down, from the drop down, take the post method. Then how these values actually you are defining in the web activity. That's what you are going to have a body or message. So actually here you are telling what is the to, what is the subject, what is the body. In real time, body is also dynamic that you will do by using some other activity that you will generate. That means simply email content you will generate dynamically that you will replace here. That is another part. So here, whatever you are configuring with those values, it is coming here. When you trigger this pipeline, when it comes to this activity, to this URL, it is trying to reach with the values what you placed here. Then those values triggering, that means action part email sending by using this action. This is what the entire flow for the email notification. Theoretically, exactly same steps we are going to see in the implementation. Okay. Now, let us try to implement the same thing in the data factory actually. And let us try to create the logic app in the Azure cloud. Okay. So let me share other screen. So here, first of all, let us try to create the logic app. So if you search in the search bar, so logic app, directly you can find out logic apps. So we have already some other logic apps. So click on add. Then actually this selection is from last 1 month only we are observing like this. Okay. So better you try to take multi-tenant, which is the simple one for us. Okay. So take the multi-tenant, click on select. Nothing is there here. Select the corresponding resource group and give the logic app name. So logic app underscore August 24 M. Okay. Dev actually. So that's all. The name is should be unique. Yes, it is fine. Then select the corresponding region. So try taking the central India. That's all. So these are the details required. Tax part, let it be, review it, and then click on create. So logic app is going to get ready. So logic app is going to create. That means that piece of software is installing behalf of you in the cloud somewhere, the region whatever you mention. Then once it is ready, you are able to see that. So this is the logic app front face. As usually like other resources, all the details it is providing here. Now where you will do this entire task, logic app side. So that is what, see logic app designer. Click on this logic app designer. You are going to see the empty parts. So here you need to develop what we discussed here. Okay. Now come here. Add a trigger. Click on add a trigger. So this is where the trigger part you are adding. What we discussed, try to match everything. Then try to take here trigger. What is that actually? HTTP request. So search with HTTP. You can see here the request. This is what the when HTTP request is received. That's what actually in the browser when you place any URL, that is what HTTP request. So click on this so that you are able to see that as a trigger here. Always with the trigger it will start. Now, as we discussed here, you see the URL section, but not yet generated. Okay. URL will be generated after save only. So let it be that part. Then the method is what? As we discussed, this is the post method. Then body, that means here what values I am ready to receive. That means it is like a parameters actually. So these are the values I am ready to receive. So you have to tell to the this request actually. So this you can generate like this. So in the JSON format, you have to tell what are those. To address is what. So you are going to receive. So take the dummy empty. And then next one is subject. So this also you are going to receive. So empty value, you can take default values also. And then body. And then empty here. So try to copy this somewhere so that we can reuse it in the web activities side. So that's all. By writing what the parameters you are generating, you are going to receive, it will generate actually actual code here. You can see that actual body, it is generated here. So what is there? So you given two. So data type defaultly string, subject string. So this you no need to generate. Just tell that what are the parameters you are receiving. That's all. So with this, first of all, configuring trigger is done. Trigger part is done. Now action. What is the action? Let us try to decide. So here, that is what, when you come, this is what next, what you want to do after this step. So click on this plus, add a action. What is the action you want to do? Click on that action. Now try to see here. I want to send a email, right? So what is the email sender actually? App is what? So that may be Outlook sometimes. So search with Outlook in your real time. You will use this app. And here we are going to send emails with the Gmail app actually. So Gmail app corresponding things you will get it here. With the Gmail app, what you want to do? What is the action? Delete a email, send a email, get email details. So this is what I want to do. So send a email, click on that. So that's all. Now the next part. What is the next part here is, come here. Immediately after Gmail installed in your mobile, what you have to do? You have to log in actually to send the emails. That's what very importantly first you need to do. So connection name you are giving. So I am giving just EFN and this part let it be. Try to log in actually. Okay. I'm trying to log in now so that it will simply ask you the username and password of the sender actually. That's what, right? So just click on sign in. So a pop-up window came. So let me share that. Yeah. See, this is the pop-up. In general, how you will log in. This is what existing logged in emails in my browser. So either you directly can log in, you directly go here. So I'm just clicking on this. So with this, I'm just logging in edufulness@gmail.com. So I'm giving the permission to the logic app. So allow that. That's all. So that's all. That means what happened actually, I just logged in. That's what happened. So you can see your connection still now. Multiple emails, how you can configure in the same browser. Multiple things also, multiple emails also you can configure here. I can add one more actually. Okay. So sender, you can change every time. That's all the connection side. So select again connection, change connection. Now see here, if you want to send a email, right? You want to send email means, see here, to address is what, body is what, subject is what you need to configure. So that means two only you are able to see. What about subject and body? See advanced parameters in that drop down. You can see CC you want to include, BCC you want to include, subject, body, attachments. You can play with all these things actually. Okay. So take the subject and body. So that's all. Click outside. You are able to see them here. To subject and body. See, nothing is there. This is like you are sending a email directly to address subject and body. So you can write manually also. So this is testing email like that, a body. And you can develop your email here directly, how you are sending email. So you can see all the options. Okay. Attachments, everything you have here actually. But we are receiving these things from somewhere actually. So that is what you need to configure what you received here. So select on this, go to the dynamic content. This is what to right. This is the two which you received here. So take the two, click add. So two, what you received here as two, that you are replacing here. That's what we told, right? What you received to, that is replacing here. Then similarly, subject is what? Same thing, dynamic content. These are the parameters. Add subject. And what is the body? Same thing. Click on this effects, dynamic content. Take the body. That is what. See, these are the three values you are receiving dynamically, and those replaced here. That is very important. That's all actually configuration side. That's what we discussed. Let us try to test this one here itself. You can run this logic app. So that is what try to, first of all, you see, there is no URL right now. So try to save this logic app, whatever you developed. The moment you saved, see the URL it is generated. Okay. This is the URL you want to call some from anywhere actually. Now what you are doing is, so let it be. So now you can see this is the thing you developed. You can run from here itself, run with payload. That means you have to pass some values. Here you can take the body, whatever you developed earlier. So to address. See here, I am going to log in with my Gmail. Just a minute. Edufulness Gmail. You should see what you send the email from here. You should see in the sent emails. So I'm going to the sent emails. I should see that email here actually, whatever I sent from the logic app. And let me take another receiver actually. Let us take decide one receiver. This is the receiver. So receiver will see in the inbox. Sender email will see in the sent, right? That is natural thing. So receiver who is actually, so he is the receiver. So I'm taking this email, pasting here. Okay. Then subject is what? So email from logic app. Okay. Sending email from logic app actually. So this is the things you are sending. You want to see in the sent email in the edufulness.com, edufulness Gmail, and receiver here in the inbox you have to see. So if you click on run, these things is going to happen here, so that will reflect here actually. So it is done. You can see it's a run history, whether it is successfully happened or not. Click on this run history. Yes, it is succeeded. Just now I sent. Now you can see in the receiver sent side, refresh. And here receiver side, see already you received receiver side inbox. In the inbox, you can see who is the sender. This is the from, and who is the receiver. This is the thing. Then subject what you given there, and body what you given there. Of course, here you can see that this is what sent side, sender. So that's all logic upside. Now the only remaining thing is in the data from the data factory, you have to call this. How you will call? Come on, come to the data factory now. So try to take the new pipeline, straightforward thing. So you can see what we discussed actually. There is an activity who is capable to call the URLs, APIs. So that is the web activity. Okay. What you are doing actually, send email. Okay. So you are going to send an email. Now come to the settings section. See what we discussed. Theory, same thing. URL is what? So it need only the URL part. From the logic app, try to copy this URL, unique URL, and paste it here. That's all. This is the URL, you copy it from there. Method is what, as we discussed. So if it is a get, you don't have any body part. If it is a put, you are going to have a body part. If it is a post, you are going to have a body part. So that's all. Now, body is what we discussed here, theory. In the body, actually you are telling that to whom you want to send and what is the subject and email contents. So that is what here, let me copy paste what we created earlier. That is what here you are going to take care. Here actually you will define, then this ADF you will run, so that internally that logic app is going to trigger, actually executes. So to whom you want to send, that is what the email, take the same receiver. So I'm going to take the same receiver. He is the receiver, take it. And what is the subject? Email from where actually? This is from ADF. Okay. Now subjective body is what? Sending email using web activity from ADF actually. So just some sample data try to give it. So that's all configuration side. Actually, in general, you are going to have authentication also. Just by having URL, are you able to send the details? No, actually. Here we don't have any authentication. Sometimes you are going to have authentication basing on your API endpoints. But definitely you no need to bother to whom you are sending the data. They will definitely provide the documentation how to configure these details. If you know already the Postman app, from the Postman app also, same steps you can do and trigger that logic app so that you can send the emails. Now I am going to debug from the data factory so that expectation is what you should receive email here and you should see email in the sent section actually. So here I am triggering. Let us try to observe that. So it is succeeded. That means go here, see the logic app history, run history. So yes, you see at 7:30 just now it is sent. Now you can see the results here. Refresh. Yes, you see this is the body you set sending email using web activity from ADF, and this is the subject and sender and receiver. And in the receiver side, see the email just now you received at 7:30. So you can see the thing. So that's all straightforward discussion, only this one. Okay. Now actual thing is here, whatever body you configured, whatever subject you configured, whatever send receiver you configured, that you will make dynamic by using other activities. To whom you want to send, what is the subject, email, pipeline is get succeeded or not. So all those things you can make it by using the, see here the dynamic content, how dynamic expressions you used for other activities. Similar manner you can generate this body actually. So simply how you can send the email notifications by using data factory and logic app. So simple logic app configure. So what values you are going to receive dynamically. So try to configure them and try to here configure in the corresponding positions in the sending app. And then this is the URL generated. That URL you configure in the web activity, and values what you want to send, you configure them. Then by triggering pipeline, it will call the logic app. Logic app is going to execute, then sending the email.